What's happening, party people? Happy Saturday, everybody. This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. My name is Benjamin Kennedy. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Guys, guess what? We got ourselves a game 7, baby. Woo-wee. I cannot wait for Monday night. Clear your calendars, do yourselves a favor. You know, put the dog food out for the dog, put your kids to bed early, get in front of that TV Monday night. This is going to be something you're not going to want to miss. Something we haven't seen since the 40s. Since the 40s, a team battling back from '03 to force a game 7. Last time it happened was 1945 with the Red Wings. They lost that series. The last time we saw a team come back and win, you got to go back to 1942 with the Maple Leafs, where they did win that cup. But this is going to be so much fun, guys. Don't miss it. Monday night, 8 o'clock, down in Sunrise. You've got a nervous, shell shock looking Florida team going up against the best player on the planet in Connor McDavid. It's going to be fun. Let's dig into what we saw last night, guys. Fun game, exciting game. The Edmonton crowd was into it. The building was rocking. To be expected. It was quite the scene there up there in Alberta. Well, we start the first period. One of the stories over the last 2 or 3 games has been Leon Draisaitl. Kind of disappeared a little bit. Some concern that maybe he's been, fighting off an injury of some sort. Just hadn't really looked the same the last couple games. But he came out in this game with a lot more energy. Gets a shot early. Just looks sharper. Looks better. Looks like he's skating a little faster. So good news for Edmonton. It's certainly good news. You want to see the best players out there. So glad to see he's able to muster through whatever he's dealing with. You get a near miss by Ekblad. Net was partially empty. Kind of caught Skinner moving a little bit. Just can't bury it. Would have been a big goal for Florida to get started. You get a rip by Bouchard. Uh, at this point, it's 5-1 in shots on goal for the Oilers. Bob's looking good so far, but Edmonton clearly getting to their game. Pace of play really starting. Once again, theme, their speed is really dictating the course of play so far. But you get through part of that period. Fogle does bury one from Leon Draisaitl. Uh, Barkov and Ekblad were both on the ice for it, but it's 1-0 Edmonton. Not long after that, you do get a near miss by Connor McDavid. Kind of gets to the center of the ice, right in front of the goaltender, rips it, misses not by much, but it was a beautiful play. At the 8:17 mark, you do get the first power play for Florida. So this is where, all right, you're kind of halfway through that first period. Wake up, Florida! Like, let's get after it. Let's go. Stanley Cup's in the building. Let's go. So you're kind of thinking maybe this is their chance to wake up. And just a gross power play, effort by the Panthers where Hagee had a couple of fumbles in there. Sam Bennett had a really bad pass to help Edmonton kinda kill it off, and which they do. But you're at the 14-minute mark in the first period, and there's only 1 shot on goal for the Panthers. I mean, this is reminiscent of what the Bruins were doing in their playoff run. It's just bizarre, and it's obviously some of that effort by Edmonton and what their defense is doing. They're really controlling the pace of play. Florida's not able to get to their forechecking game and not able to get into those spin cycles that they like to get into in their ozone. At the 15:23 mark, Edmonton draws a power play. Uh, they move the puck well, crisp, fast. They do generate a little bit in terms of shot opportunities, but Florida is able to kill that one off. Edmonton just keeps the puck in a couple of times. You see kind of towards the end of that period there, Florida's not able to get clears, and it kind of reminds you of how Florida tends to play. Edmonton kind of giving them a taste of their own medicine. Uh, Bouchard kind of at the end gets a bomb that misses kind of right at the horn. And the first period, only 2 shots on goal for Florida. And I think at that point, they both had come from defensemen. So uncharacteristic play by the Panthers once again. And funny to think that, man, you've got the cup in the building. You should have nothing but urgency. You don't want to go back. You want to go back to Florida. You want to go back with the Stanley Cup, though. You don't want Edmonton coming with you. And just kind of a weird period there for the Panthers. You start the second period. Edmonton clears the puck all the way up the boards to Janmark, who gets it over to Henrique, buries it in that within the first minute, um, and you've got yourself a 2-0 advantage here for the Oilers right here at the start of the second period. Bad defensive laps by the Panthers. I think they were trying to change as well, but just pretty sloppy stuff. 10 seconds later, uh, Barkov buries one off of Skinner. It's off a rebound off of Skinner, goes in. Panthers are celebrating, and then you get the hold on a second. Edmonton looking at their iPads, talking to their video coaches, and they decide to challenge this for offsides. Watching the play live, I was a little bit surprised that there was even a question. It looked good to me, looked onside to me, just watching it in real time. As you start to watch the replays and they get Dave Jackson on there on ESPN, kind of explaining that, hey, they've got different camera angles. They can slow this down frame by frame. And you can see, especially some other screenshots that came out this morning, um, that it definitely was offsides by the slimmest of margins. We're talking a couple of inches, maybe not even that. It was really close, but it was the right call. So instead of it being 2-1 and Florida getting a little juice, a little momentum, it's still 2-0. And Paul Maurice, ooh, I love this man. He is just losing his mind. Um, don't need any interpreters to know what he was saying to the officials after that one. Um, I get it. I'd be pretty pissed off too if that call goes against me. But I just thought this was a really gutsy, aggressive call by Edmonton. For those that don't know, when you challenge a play like that, if you lose the challenge, you go on the penalty kill. You got to go kill 2 minutes. So this could have been 2-1 Edmonton with a power play for Florida. So fairly risky move if you're not blocked, but it pays off. And just so you know, and they explained it on the telecast, last night. Once that play is reviewed, it goes to the situation room, and it's really their call at that point. It's on them. It's not on the officials at that point. So yeah, Maurice is kind of giving it to the refs, but it was really the situation room that makes that call. Um, so momentum killer for the Panthers. Tough one, but I do think technically it was the right call. We can have another conversation later about the nature of all sides. There's a lot of chatter about that throughout the year. Um, it's really put into play, as a challengeable play to help get those kind of really egregious bad misses on the officials. It really wasn't designed to stop things like what we saw last night, but nature of the letter of the law, technically, yeah, it was offsides, and they did get it right. I'll give Maurice and I'll give Barkov both credit here in their post game press conferences. They kind of took the high road. Um, Paul said, "Listen, it looked onside to us. I haven't seen all the replays. Maybe it was offsides. I haven't seen all the screenshots of it, so maybe it was offsides." And when Barkov was asked about it, he was just very simply, "Yeah, it was offsides, and we have to move on. We have to be better. We have to play better." So, good on them for that. You get through that at the 3:05 mark. You do have matching penalties, so you do have 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Everything's killed off. But at this point, you can really see that team speed is showing out for the Oilers again, keeping Florida away from what they want to do, getting into their own offensive rhythm. It's really becoming a story in this game once again, in this series once again. Lomberg does get a great look, though, not long after this. Skinner just makes kind of the save of the night, in my opinion. I noted it just as one to keep in mind. It's only 2-0 at this point. That goes in for Lomberg and the Panthers. You get yourself a game. Um, but definitely a play to remember, especially now that they won the game. But good on Skinner on that one. 10:57 mark. You get a Florida power play. It was a it was a hook on McDavid. Barkov was rushing to the net. Most likely, that hook could have saved a goal. I mean, Sasha was on fire. He was the only Panther really going last night. Um, and I think 97 takes that penalty, knowing, oof, I just got beat and got to take him down. Um, Florida does get a couple looks. Skinner's standing tall. It's all killed off. Um, At the 15:30 mark, Barkov gets another beauty of a shot, and Skinner stones him on that one too. Not long after that, 16:50 mark, point blank shot by Henrique. Bobrovsky does stone him on that one. So a little bit of back and forth, still 2-0. You know, if you're Florida, you're still just one shot away from getting yourself back into this game. Unfortunately for them, at the 18:20 mark, so getting towards the end of that second period, Zach Hyman on a breakaway scores an absolute beauty of a goal. Gets the puck off of Florida, block shot, and beats Bob under his arm. 3-0 Edmonton. And now the roof is starting to come off the building. It is getting loud. Commentators can't hear each other. I think they were interviewing players in between the periods. They were having a hard time hearing the questions. It's getting crazy. Getting crazy. Start the third period. Florida decides to put their skates on. They decide to let's maybe we try to win this game. Maybe we try to that big shiny trophy over here. Maybe we want to bring that with us. I don't know. It's just a thought. But Montour, nice play through the legs of of Nurse, Darnell Nurse. I said Nick Nurse, not a basketball coach, Ben. But on a rush, does hit the post about a minute into the third period. The 128 mark. Again, Sasha Barkov, a beautiful deep move after Edmonton has a poor clear out attempt to get the puck out. Barkov buries it. You do finally have some momentum if you're Florida now 3-1 Edmonton. Florida started to tilt the ice. They feed off of that goal and they start to control some of the play early in the third period. You knew they were going to push. Edmonton doing their best to just maintain. Skinner playing really, really well. You get a Florida power play at the 6:15 mark on a high stick. Florida just not able to generate much on this one, guys. They just, again, not really too in sync, uh, not getting a lot of good looks. They do give up another shorthanded opportunity that Bob, has to come all the way out of his net, breaks the angle down, keeps it from going in, but um, just not able to generate much on this PP. And Edmonton does kill that off. At the 11:30 mark, you do get a power play opportunity for Edmonton. Both teams kind of sloppy on this one, but it does get killed off. After that, you have a 3-on-2 rush by Florida. Skinner makes another stop, and then another shot on Skinner near the post at about the 5 or 15:45 mark, stopped again by Stuart Skinner. So Skinner becoming a story in this series and really starting to outperform Bobrovsky, which is something we wouldn't have said after the first couple games here. With that said, at the 16:30 mark, Florida decides time to pull the goaltender. And about 15 seconds after that, McLeod buries one 4-1 Edmonton. That's basically your game at this point. Um, Florida right after that does get a great look. Skinner stops it. Really nice stick work on Stuart Skinner, kind of having to use a stick from out behind him. Get it out to Henrique. He buries it at the 16:57 mark into the empty net once again for a 5-1 finish. In this game, you score 5 goals. You don't get any shots on goal for McDavid, no points for McDavid. Um, so if you're the Oilers, that's not horrible that you're able to generate, 3 straight up goals, 5 total without needing your all-world player to be part of it. And not that he wasn't part of it, you know what I mean, not on the score sheet. Um, I actually had picked Edmonton to win this game 5-2, so I'm a little salty. I wanted that offsides goal to count. I would have been right, but um, I'm just shocked, though. I am really shocked that it took Florida 40 minutes to get into this game with the cup in the building. It took you 40 minutes to get going. Where's the urgency? Where's the juice to go after this? I just don't know how you allow yourself to come out so flat and without that urgency. Is it that? Is there something going on mentally with Florida, or is it more of what Edmonton is doing from a defensive perspective? Probably, if we want to answer it easily, a little bit of both, most likely. The team speed, though, for the Oilers has definitely taken over this series. They're neutralizing Florida's forechecking, their spin cycle, offensive ozone play. You can't hit what you can't catch. And if you can't catch the Edmonton Oilers, you're not going to be able to forecheck on them. That's definitely become the story along with Skinner over these past 3 games. Um, Good on Stewart. He's if you listen to any Edmonton coverage over the year, you know, uh, kind of a punching bag throughout the year, especially early on when the Oilers were really struggling. Stewart was struggling, and he's been a little up and down all throughout the year, but um, has really stepped. Listen, even in the Vancouver series, he was benched. So this is just such a great story for him that he's been able to not only rebound, but in the highest of pressures, um, whether they win or lose Game 7, he's been a huge part of them being able to turn this thing around and get to the final game of the year. The last 3 games, Edmonton has outscored Florida 18-5. That's nuts. That is just nuts in a Stanley Cup final to be averaging 6 goals a game for a 3-game stretch. I don't really think you see that very often. And if you're Florida, you're giving up 6 goals a game. You lose 3 in a row, and you still have a chance to win the thing. That also doesn't usually happen. You lose 3 games like that in consecutive order, you're probably going home. Lucky for the Panthers, they still have a chance to win this thing. Um, and if they don't, oh, Mother Mary, this will be a long, long summer for those Panthers. To lose 2 cups in a row, this one in particular, I think would hurt, a lot. The likelihood of getting back here next year, it's tough. It's hard to do. We had the Boston Bruins in 77, 78, went back 2 years in a row, lost both of them. We did have recently, obviously, the Tampa Bay Lightning get there 3 times in a row, but they were able to win 2 of them. And that 3rd one, they were definitely kind of out of gas. So this is not, a given that the Panthers can just roll this back and get back here next year. So if you're the Panthers, now is your time. Monday night is your time to close this out and get that first Stanley Cup for your organization. There'll be a lot of looking in the mirror if this doesn't go their way, losing 4 in a row. Um, we talked about this during the Boston Florida series, talked about it during the Ranger Florida series. Is how do you beat Bobrovsky? You beat him high, you beat him to his glove side. Edmonton, unlike Boston, unlike New York, has figured that out, and they're starting to get the Bobrovsky. He's really looked shaky here over these past 2 and 3 games. So, again, quite a change from what we saw early on in the series. Can Florida fight off these nerves? I'm sure when they get on that flight, I'm imagining they probably fly back to Miami today. Probably going to be a very quiet flight. How nervous are they? Can they fight those nerves off? Can they start the game on time? It's a cliche in hockey. You've got to start on time, got to skate on time. It's true though. You have to, especially when you're playing a team like Edmonton that's firing and skating with that speed. You have to be ready to go because the Oilers are going to come out. They're going to keep trying to dictate that play with their speed, with their skill. Bob has got to be sharper. Man, he has got to be sharper by a mile. And Florida needs to find a way to get back to their style, get back to their forechecking game. Stop overthinking it. And you see that a little bit. I think you're seeing it with Connor Verhage a little bit right now, where he's overthinking the play a little bit. I think other players are too. Um, I think Ray Ferraro last night used the term, an analysis by paralysis, and I think some of that's happening here with the Panthers. This would be a complete choke job if they give this one up. What's that crowd going to be like down there at Sunrise? Can they match that enthusiasm, that volume that we heard last night in Edmonton? I don't know. I think the first few minutes of that game might dictate that, but this will be a gut wrenching game. If you're a Florida fan, if you're an Oilers fan, this is going to be a gut wrenching game to watch. I remember 2019 waiting for game 7, Bruins St. Louis. I didn't eat all day. I don't think I slept the night before. I was a mess. I was just a wreck waiting for that game to start. I would just tell you though, if you're a fan of one of these 2 teams, if you're pulling for one of these 2 teams, enjoy it. Drink some water, enjoy it, have fun with it. You may never see this again. It's not certain your team ever gets back here. So enjoy the moment, win or lose. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be epic. If hockey gods are a real thing, give us overtime. Can you please give us game 7 overtime? I would just absolutely love to see that. Oh, baby, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun? Guys, thank you so much. If you like what you're hearing, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I absolutely appreciate that. And I hope that you all have just a wonderful weekend. And we will talk to you all again probably Monday night or Tuesday. Take care.